everyone, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast, episode 12. In this episode, I talked to my really good friend, Mike Cardan. Mike is an actor, a photographer, a filmmaker. He's just an overall incredible human being, and it was awesome to talk with him on this call. I admire Mike, because Mike's one of those guys who, if he doesn't know something, he will go figure it out. And he will go study it, he will go practice, and he will be meticulous until he figures it out and gets it right. Like, for example, we talk about how he got into filmmaking. He went from never making a movie ever to now making some really high quality films. And those are the type of people I like to hang around, learn from, and get inspired by. And we had a really good conversation. And the book of the episode is, I'm going to go with The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if it's Tolle or Toll, tomato. Because Mike and I had a really interesting conversation in the realms of philosophy about the meaning of life toward the ends of this conversation that I hope listening to it can get some wheels turning and some ideas spinning in your own brains. But it reminded me of this book and how the present moment is all we have and there's really nothing else. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So without further ado, this was a great conversation with Mike. I'm very proud to call him a great friend, and I hope you enjoy. Mike Cardan, welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for showing me up with better video quality and better audio than me.
Hey, what can I do? I try my best, you know?
Well, and I definitely want to talk about that. Look, what camera are you shooting that on right now?
Well, I have two cameras. This is the SL2. This is the one that we used when we shot Tijuana.
The best film never to be seen.
Best film ever made. Yes, exactly. And I'm using the lens when we shot the 120 for the Playhouse West. So I'm using the SL2 for this. It's a DSLR. And what do? You just download the webcam utility software from Canon, and you install it on the computer. Then you connect the DSLR to the computer, and you have this screen. Image. I think it's a better image than the computer itself.
Well, and so could I technically do that with the Canon T3Is that I have?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll send you the link. Well, I'll send you the video. They explain what to do, like 4 steps, easy steps. I'll send you the video, and you can watch it, and you can do it. It's really easy, and you can do it with the camera that you have. It's going to give a better image. And
you're using the Zoom recorder, I believe?
Yes, I'm using the Zoom H5 recorder for the audio. So it's basically you just hook it up to the computer as well, and you go to the input and the output. This is the input, the H5, and the output. Obviously, it's going to be the laptop speakers.
Okay. Yeah, and we're actually hitting. I kind of have been finding with these that I write topics in order, but you kind of are touching on something I wanted to talk about with you that, I admire about you, and you're good at learning things.
Oh.
And I know for some people, like, well, what does he mean by that? Like you are good at getting into something you know nothing about and figuring it out and then doing it really good. Like the Zoom setup. It's like I'm done now. This is my 12th one, and now you have already better audio, better picture. But like you said, you YouTubed it probably, didn't you? Googled it?
Yeah, if I try to have a nice setup, and if I don't know how to do it, of course I read the manual, but then I go on YouTube and I try to learn. I watch more than one video, and the good thing about YouTube is like an encyclopedia for free. So you just go there and you type what you want, how to hook up, H5 to the computer or a DSLR, and it's going to give you like over 100 videos on the subject. And you just go, and look at one or maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Then you have an idea. Then you start, experimenting, and you get a good result. So I really like YouTube. I watch videos every day, and I try to learn as much as I can, educate myself, stuff like that.
And you've done that for lots of things, right? Whether it's video editing, photography, film.
Yeah. Anything I want to, anything I don't know and I would like to learn, I go to YouTube. Plus, I have LinkedIn. So I paid about $230. I pay $230 a year for LinkedIn, and it has a lot of courses on photography, on editing. That's how I learned how to edit in Premiere Pro. I have Premiere Pro and I have Final Cut Pro, and then now I bought a book and I'm learning Photoshop. So yeah, I try to keep busy, but it's all self-taught, and I do my own stuff. So I edit my own movies, and I'm a photographer as well. So obviously I edit my own pictures, and it's like a hobby slash maybe in the future it'll be a potential for a business idea or something. But yeah, this is what I do. I mean, I go on YouTube, LinkedIn, and I try to, and I even took a photography class. I went to, and I registered in person. That was a year and a half ago. And, when I was done with the class, I keep learning from YouTube and LinkedIn and all these videos and books, of course. I keep busy.
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, you're telling me LinkedIn, if I assume you have a premium account on there, that's what it is?
Yeah, when you pay, you go, yeah, you have a premium account automatically.
So, okay, I was thinking the premium account, all you get is to like see who sees your profile and stuff like that. Are you telling me there's a bunch of other resources you get by paying that $230 a year?
Yes, absolutely.
I had no idea.
You have a bunch of courses, unlimited amount of courses. You have a lot of courses on photography, on stocks, if you want to trade stocks, if you want to learn Excel, if you want to learn Pages, if you want to learn Motion, Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, After Effects, you name it. I mean, they have a lot of information and a lot of videos. I mean, it's really resourceful, and I like it. I mean, this is my first year paying for the premium service, and I like it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go ahead and renew, but so far I like it, and I mean, I use it a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. And then I guess the one last thing I'll say to this, and we'll transition here, is that is a valuable skill you have, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you can just go learn it on the internet, but the thing is, you have to actually go learn it and you have to study it, you have to practice it, you have to put in a lot of time. And you're one of those people. Exactly. I've noticed that you put in the time. And just seeing just your films and your photography, just how far they've come in such a short amount of time.
Oh, thank you.
It's not short amount of time because you've put in a lot of time in a short amount of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got to put in the time, and you just got to keep on doing it. I mean, in the beginning you don't know anything, then you start knowing a little bit more, then you start and you become creative, and you start doing more and more and more, then you become a professional. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, and before all this, and this will give the audience and listeners and viewers an idea of how we first met, which was, of course, at Playhouse West in Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
But when I really met you was at the Pineapple Hill.
Yes, that was for the
Oscar thing.
Oh, the Oscar thing, yes.
Yeah, and you and I were both hanging out there, and we knew we were in the same class, the beginner class together, and so we were talking, and you started to educate me on the quote-unquote acting business. And, here's me thinking, okay, I'm in acting class, and you're going to come out here, you're going to start making films, and then I start talking to you, and you're like, yeah, well, so now you got to look for an agent and a manager, and here's how you do this, and you got to get these headshots, and then you got to do this. And I'm thinking like, holy crap, like there's way more to this than I thought with acting. So I guess I'm just opening up the conversation. We can talk your personal journey into acting, what led you to acting, and then maybe get into the acting business a little bit.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know I was going to become an actor or, go for acting. But when I moved to California from New Jersey, I lived on the East Coast for like 10 years. Then I moved to California. I always liked movies, and, I'm a big movie fan. I watch a lot of movies, and, I just, when I came here, I came for for California because, it's so beautiful and the weather is so gorgeous, and you have the beaches and you have the babes and, all that kind of stuff. So I came here, and yeah, it was a good move for me. But then I worked, on the set, and I took an acting course, and I just like, I really liked acting, and I'm like, I could do this for a living. So I decided to pursue acting as a career, and I quit about 2-3 times because of life and because of family and stuff like that, and I had to move and come back. But the last move to Los Angeles was in 2014. I actually moved to Orange County, and I stayed there for 2 years. Then I made the move to Los Angeles in 2016.
I'm sorry, you reminded me of a couple quotes you've told me before. No agent, no career.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
what was the one thing you told me? They say you need to be an hour
No,
drive.
it's you got to be within 20, I think 20 to 25 mile radius, or maybe 35-mile radius within Los Angeles. Because if you live like 40, 50, 60, 70 miles away and you think you're going to become an actor, it's almost impossible, because you have to be here. This is where the action is. So you got to be here. And I made a couple of videos on YouTube on my channel talking about these things. And this is something I picked up last week, and I decided to just, share my information and my experience on YouTube. So if anybody interested, they can go to my channel, they can watch the videos. They're just, I talk about my experience. I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to teach you anything, but I'll share with you what I know about the business, which I think it's going to be very helpful for the beginner. If you're a beginner, you don't know anything about acting, you don't know where to live in Los Angeles, because that happened to me. I didn't know anything. I didn't know where to move, how to do things. So whatever I know now, I share it with the beginner, and I think is going to be valuable information to them. But yeah, I think if you don't have an agent, you don't have a career. You can have an agent or a manager. It's better to have right now in the beginning an agent and a manager. And I show that in one of my videos, how to get an agent and a manager. Of course, it's going to take you some time. It's not an overnight thing, but it's two proven ways. I got my agent and manager doing, the two ways I talk about in the video.
Now, explain for people that may not be as familiar with the acting business scene. Why is it so important that you need a manager and agent?
Well, I mean, if you want to make student movies, if you want to be in student movies, if you want to make your own movies, that's fine. You don't need an agent. You don't need a manager. If you like acting and you just want to act, and you have a camera, you have a crew, and you make your own stuff and you put it on YouTube, or maybe you go to film festivals. You never know. Maybe you'll make it. I'm not saying you're not going to make it. But if you have an agent, especially an agent, it's more important to have an agent than a manager, because a manager cannot negotiate on your behalf. An agent can do everything for you because they're SAG franchised agents. Managers are not SAG; they're independent, and they charge more, and they're more, they have more freedom as to what they can put in the contract. But the agents, they abide by the contract that come from the Screen Actors Guild, and they can negotiate on your behalf. So you need an agent. You need an agent to make it in this business. But of course, if you get a manager now, the manager will go ahead and work with agents, and they will get you an agent, and they will work together. The agent and the manager, you can work as a team. But it's extremely crucial to have an agent and a manager, but it's more of an agent. If you have to choose, go with the agent, especially if it's a SAG agency, a franchised agent.
And one of the reasons why is because they get access to the
Yeah,
biggest
that's
roles,
another
like
reason.
real paying acting gigs that can change your life, really.
Yes, you're going to be submitted to primetime TV and big movies like Shawshank Redemption or Bad Boys, or The Fast and the Furious. You can't get these submissions, go into Actors Access. If you don't have an agent, you're not going to see the breakdown. You have to have an agent. The agent, even when you have an agent, you don't see the breakdowns. They see it. They submit you, and then when they get the notice that they want to see you, they send you an email, and then you do the self-tape, or you go in person and you audition, and then they talk to the agent. They don't talk to you. So that you need the agent. You and the agent are like one team. And if you have a manager, it's the three of you will become one team, and you have to work all together.
And if you're willing, I know you've done videos on this, but could you maybe share a little what you did or some of the things you could do? Maybe not give away all your secret sauce, but how do you get an agent? Okay, I'm an actor
Well,
in
I mean,
LA.
I'll tell you one. Yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you one way. If you want to get an agent, and this is what I did. It took me a long time. It wasn't like an overnight thing. But you go to the SAG-AFTRA website, and I show like step by step what to do in my video. And you go there and you click on search and you type in SAG franchised agents, and you will get all the list. If you live in Los Angeles, you click on Los Angeles, and it will give you over 100 agents. So you print the page, or you can use your computer, of course, and you start mailing your headshots and your resume with a cover letter. The cover letter has to be concise and to the point. It cannot be a big paragraph because they're not going to read it. They're busy. They get too many submissions. They just want to know why you're. I mean, as soon as they see the email without reading the cover letter, they're going to know why you're submitting your pictures and your resume. But you can type to whom it may concern, and very important, if you know the name of the agent, put it there because they love it. Some people, and I saw this on YouTube, they're like, if they don't know my name, I'm not going to read the email, which is, I think it's, I mean, to each his own. But if you know the name of the agent, just go ahead and put it. If you don't know, just put to whom it may concern, and just keep on sending. If you have 100, every 2 weeks, send 10 submissions. Then wait 2 weeks. If you don't hear anything, then send another 10. Then wait 2 weeks, then another 10, then wait 2 weeks until you get to the end of the list. Then just give it a month, then do the same thing all over again. And if you keep doing this, sooner or later, you're going to get, emails from the agencies. Some of them, they're going to tell you, we're busy now. We don't have, any place to, get more talents. But, try in 3 months, try in 5 months. Thank you for submitting. But, try in 2 months. And some, you're not going to get anything from them. So you just got to keep on trying.
Yeah. And to put it in, and I'm not, I mean, you and a lot of others are way farther along and have way more experience than I ever had in this. But I talked to someone out here in LA just to give people a perspective, because, when you talk to people outside of here, some people will say, oh, you don't need acting classes, or it's all you do is do this and this. And it's like, okay, well, there's that 1 in 1 millionth person that may have a strong connection to something, or yada, yada, yada. But I talked to this guy, and he said he moved to LA. He said he didn't even try to get an agent until he studied for 5 years. Now, everyone's going to be different, but that was his mentality. His mentality was, I'm just going to get as good as possible. Mm-hmm. And then he told me, when he started to submit to agents, I think I'm getting this correct, over a 4-year time period, he had submitted 2,000 emails. 2,000 and he finally got an agent at the end of the 2,000 emails. He finally got one. 9 years. 9 years.
I believe him, man. You know why? Because it took me a long time to get my agent. I mean, it didn't happen in 1 month. I got my manager in 1 month, believe it or not. Through Actors Access, and I explained that in the video as well, how to get it. But to get an agent, it took me a long time. I just kept on, sending, the emails, and finally somebody, got back to me, and they said they want to, see me, and they signed me up. But yeah, it takes a long time. It's not. You know what? It could happen in like two weeks, but that's the exception.
Yeah.
You can't live on exceptions. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's going to happen. Think about it this way. It's going to take a long time. So yeah, I agree with him that you need to go to training, and the training is important, because if your agent, they don't know you, they want to see some, videos of you. So it's good to have a demo reel or maybe vignettes. 30 seconds, 25 seconds. They just want to see you on TV or on a video, and they want to listen to you talk. That's all. And that's going to open a lot of windows of opportunities for you. But training is very important, is crucial. I think if you're not on the set working, then you should be in training. If people say you don't need classes or you don't need training, then if they're working on the set, then they probably don't need training. But if they're not on the set working, then they should be in class, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, and going back to class, I mean, shoot, what is it? What time? Well, Monday nights for us, I guess when we were in intermediate, we used to be in
Yeah.
class on Monday nights, and so many memories, man. So many. I had to take it to Playhouse West for a second. So many.
So many good memories, especially the when we did True West, you and I.
Yeah. True West. Yes, that was a learning experience to say the least. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
for all those listening or watching now, Mike and I, along with several others, we all started there at the same time, and we all met each other, and we like all clicked like right off the bat. Like it was like one of those things where it's like, where have you people been all my life? then we
No,
start making
exactly.
movies. Long Road to Bakersfield, which to this
That was
day will one
that was
day
our
become a
first
YouTube
movie.
phenomenon.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Maybe it's a potential to become a big, hit movie. You never know.
feature film. Eventually, in the year 2028, we'll film San Fernando whenever that comes out.
Yeah. Hey, it's on the list, right?
But the memories, man, that I have of that experience of being in class with you and you in particular, and amongst others, and the classes, the events we'd go to, the film festivals, the making movies
Yeah.
outside. I mean, dude, it
Yeah.
was so great. It was such an amazing 2 year ride.
I agree. I mean, it was really nice, and the experience itself, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's but
Absolutely.
things change, pandemics happen. Injuries
Yeah.
happen, and then life goes on different ways. But it's one of those things too where like I'm happy to see everyone still progressing whatever creative pursuit that they're doing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, we had good times, and hey, the best days are yet to come. That's how I think about things. We still have a lot to learn and more experiences to experience.
Let me go back to Playoffs West for a sec, because I know you've taken several classes before, I believe, right? Like you've studied other places, and
I
uh,
did. I went to one or two places before Playhouse West. Yep.
what did you like most about Playhouse West,
Well,
or what did you get
the
out of it?
community. First of all, I like the community.
Mm,
You guys made it so special.
mm,
And second thing is that in Playhouse West, it's not just going to class and learning how to act. You become an actor. You become an actor gradually because it's a 2 year course, and they have a curriculum. It's like going to college, a 4 year college, but it's not 4 years. It's 2 years. And when you go in, they don't give you a script. They don't give you a scene, and they don't say, okay, go ahead and do the scene with your partner. They teach you the fundamentals first. You start with the basics, then the repetition, and it's so easy. So it's simple. Then it gets harder and harder and harder, and you start escalating towards becoming a better actor. And then you move to intermediate, then you get the scenes, then you get more tools, then you move to expert, and then you do plays and you do all that kind of stuff. And plus, I didn't know how to use the camera before going to Playhouse West. But after I went to Playhouse West and we made the movie together, I mean, I just I'm like, I gotta get me a camera. So I got the SL2, this one over here, and I just started learning how to take photos, how to take videos, and I made two movies. And I didn't know anything prior to Playhouse West. I didn't know anything when it came to making movies or using the camera. And it teaches you so much when you become a director, when you make your own movie. It teaches you how to talk to the actors, because I'm an actor myself, and it teaches you how to talk to the actors. So you have the perspective of the director and the perspective of the actor. So it's like you see the big picture from a different angle, I guess.
Yeah, tell me. That leads me to the last movie, at least I know of, that you put. It was The Job, wasn't it?
It was The Job with Julian and
And
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, tell me about that experience, because when I saw, I was actually laying in bed over there, injured, if you remember, but you had just finished it, and I remember watching him like, wow, like you did a really good job on that. Just all the way around. So tell me about that experience or what you learned from that.
Well, I just wanted to shoot something. I mean, Julian and I, we were, he used to come to my place once a week, and we used to work on auditioning. Just whatever script we get, whatever monologue, and we just work on it. Then we're like, we wanted to shoot something. So we shot a movie before The Job. It was like a 3-minute movie. I shot it with Julian. Then I wanted to do something else. So I had this idea to shoot the movie, and I told Julian, and I asked Eric as well, and they agreed to it. And it just happened. I didn't plan for it, but I knew I wanted to do something. And I started writing, and that was the first time in my life writing a script. So, but I guess when you want something really bad and you go after it, I mean, it manifests, I guess, but yeah, I just wanted to make something, and I made the movie. There was a lot of mistakes, but you learn from the mistakes, and it's always a learning experience. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, Julian, myself, and Eric, and we went all the way to the desert on the 14, like an hour and a half away from here. And we shot the whole day, and a lot of mistakes with the camera, a lot of mistakes with the recording the movie on my end, but I learned, and it was a fun experience, and I made a movie, and right now I'm thinking of making more movies.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you remind me of something. Will said it on the podcast. Will Edwards on the podcast I did with him a couple episodes ago. He was talking about learn how to do everything. Because when you learn how to do everything, I'm paraphrasing him, but you empower yourself. No one's going to hold you back. You shot, edited, and did all of that on your own.
I did, yes.
Of course, if you have some more help and this, that, and the other, it might make it go a little smoother, but regardless, you got it done. And you proved to yourself that you can do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I shot the movie, I wrote the movie, I shot the movie, I edited the movie, and I did everything on the movie. And I even put myself in one of the scenes. I wanted to put myself, I wanted to be more in the movie, but I couldn't do that because of the, I was the director, I was the editor, I was the writer, I was doing everything. It's just no one was helping me. And of course the guys were acting, but they did help a lot, but filming, editing, and writing the script and all that stuff, I did all by myself.
I started to laugh.
It was a good experience. Huh?
I started to laugh because I just remembered what your scene was in the movie. I don't want to, spoiler alert. You get whacked.
I get whacked. Yeah,
but people need to go check it out on your YouTube. What's your YouTube channel, by the way, so people can check out all your stuff?
It's just my first name and last name, Mike, Mike Cardan, Cardan, my last name. So it's Mike Cardan. If you type it, you'll see my picture with a beard. That's me. That's my beard, channel,
baby.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about too is you are from New Jersey area.
Well, yeah, I moved when I moved to the States. I lived in Jersey for 10 years. Then in 2002, I moved to California, and I moved to Orange County, and I stayed there for a long time. Then I decided to become an actor, and I moved to Los Angeles. But yeah, the East Coast is definitely, I have a lot of good memories there.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about the East Coast compared to here?
I mean, I lived in New Jersey, but I was like about 20 minutes away from the city, New York City, Manhattan. So we used to hit the city all the time. I mean, the city is just, it's New York. I mean, it's beautiful, it's big, but it's tough as well, especially wintertime. I mean, it's extremely cold. Even Jersey is very cold. So there's a big difference between here and there, weather-wise. I mean, I like the weather here better, but I like to visit Jersey in the fall time, like this time right now. It's the best time because you could see the season change, and it's just beautiful down there. But yeah, it's a bit different, colder. But I mean, you can do the same thing in New York if you want to pursue acting. I think it's tougher, but I think it's better if you want to become a Broadway actor instead of a TV film actor. TV film actor, I think over here there's more opportunities, but that doesn't mean that you can't become a TV film actor over there. By all means, of course you can, but it's more Broadway and theater and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, for TV and movies, I think Los Angeles is number one. And you know what's a good city too, if you want to be for theater, TV, and movies? London.
Oh yes, London.
Yeah, the UK. It's big. It's huge.
Yeah, I want to say London is pretty much, is it the size of New York City or pretty close? It's big. It's really
Yeah,
really
it's a
big.
big city. It's a decent size.
I want to say it's at least 8 million people. I'm not for sure on that, but it's definitely pretty big.
Yeah, yeah, and they have theater, they have movies, and a lot of actors. A lot of good actors come from the UK.
Hmm. In Australia as well.
Australia as well, yeah. But I think the biggest is New York, Los Angeles, and London. These are the biggest markets for acting and film and theater and all that kind of stuff.
What was, I know you talked earlier about coming to California, but what was that first thing that made you move out here the first time?
To California?
Yeah.
I just like I like the state. I mean, when I was younger, my mother's uncle, he lives in Orange County, and we came to visit. And when I came to visit, they took us around and they took us to the beach, and I love the state. And I'm like, one day I'm just gonna come back and move here. So that was that's what triggered it. But yeah, I just like California. California, LA. It's a beautiful city. It's a big city, beautiful city. There's a lot to do. Hiking is one of them. You know about it. I mean, you used to go hiking all the time. We used to go hiking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have the beach. If you want snow, you can go up north. And that's another thing I like, is to travel. And, I went to the national parks over here. Went to Yosemite twice. I went to Death Valley. I went to Sequoia, Kings Canyon. Such a beautiful state, And you have Vegas, like 3 hours away from here.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Arizona, and you have Mexico. So, I mean, you can't go wrong here, man. It's a beautiful state. I like it.
I agree. Well, and I wanted to talk about your national park experience. Yeah, I mean, I've heard Yosemite's just incredible, but then didn't you go to, it was called Alabama Hills too? You went there?
I went to Alabama Hills, and there's Mount Whitney over there as well. You go all the way up the mountain, and it's good to visit. If you've never been there, it's good to visit. It's a desert. Then you have this big mountain, and then maybe an hour away you have Death Valley. So you can visit these two national parks in maybe 1 day or 2 days. And it's just the freedom of going and experiencing, and just traveling, and you have hiking as well. When I went to Joshua Tree as well, and I went hiking for about 6 miles, and it's just you in the desert. You look around, there's nobody. Then you keep on walking, and maybe after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you see somebody coming the opposite way. You say, "Hi, how you doing?" This and that, and they go their way, and you go your way. So it's really, this is something I like. I don't know. Maybe it's the freedom of doing, it's just, it's the freedom of exploring, I guess.
What's Sequoia like? Because so for my job, my territory, I didn't realize how close my territory was to there. And I looked up where the Sequoia I'm like, oh wow, like I was working right kind of by there, and I never even knew it. I mean, is it just incredible?
It's incredible. I think it's really, I think it's really incredible. And you keep going all the way up. I think it's 7,000 Elevation is 7,000 feet.
And you're talking sequoias, not redwoods, right? Redwoods is up past San Francisco.
Well, Sequoia. I think Sequoia. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert, but they have big trees, redwood trees.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a redwood park up in San Francisco.
Right.
If you go up San Francisco, then I think it's another 45 minutes. They have redwood over there. It's a park, and they have these trees. I think they're similar trees. I'm not a tree expert, but they're big. They're huge. And yeah, these are the sequoias. I mean, as soon as you see them, you'll be like, "Oh my God, this is." I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man, I'm excited to get back to some California nature. I mean, I've been going to Santa Monica, which is my favorite place to go locally. But yeah, I mean, the state is so big. Like it's so. I mean, it's a country pretty much, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, exactly. And there's still a lot of places I didn't go to that I would love to explore. But they're all the way up by Seattle and close to Seattle, Oregon.
Pacific Northwest, man. Yeah, it's beautiful up there.
Maybe I'll go ahead and do that. If not this year, next year. But yeah, definitely. I plan to go to Yosemite soon. I don't know when, but when I get the chance, I just go. And sometimes you can't because it's full. I mean, you have to have a permit. You have to go online and get a permit, even if you have a season pass.
Wow.
You have to register, and sometimes you can't because it's full.
And do you put all these photos? Do you put some of this stuff on your photography website?
I do. I mean, it's been a while, but I do. I have, it's on Instagram, and I have a website as well. But my website, I don't have any pictures yet because I'm still working on it. But my Instagram, I have, Mike Cardan Photography. That's my Instagram account. And you'll see a link to my website as well. But the website, I'm still working on it. So it's not, fully finished.
Okay. And you take amazing photos, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Both of people and non-people. Like you can shoot headshots and all that type of stuff. I still remember us going down to downtown Burbank.
Oh, yeah.
Shooting some photos.
That's when I first started doing this. Absolutely.
That's still my headshot that I was using. I mean, I haven't been submitting to anything in a long time, but your headshot was my headshot. Which, if you're looking for headshots, you might want to consider Mike. I think too, maybe kind of tying it into everything that we've been talking about, as far as like learning things and doing things, you realize that as a human, we're getting to the good stuff now because you know where I'm going with this. like this life, there's so much to learn and experience that you can pick up and learn. And I mean, but you have to be open to it. You have to be open to, and that's what I like about you and admire about you. It's like, hey, I'm interested in this over here. Let me learn about it. Let me take a class about it. And then next thing you know, you're taking a class, you're reading books, and now you're actually, I'll use photography, for example. You're learning the camera, and then you're taking classes. You took an in-person class. You're amongst other people who are interested in the same thing you're doing. And the next thing you know, now you're going all over LA shooting pictures. Now you're it's taking you to national parks, these beautiful places. It's not that maybe you wouldn't have gone there without photography, but it's almost like photography opened up different worlds to you as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it's an inspiration to like stay curious and to stay inspired about things in this life. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. Like I get set in my ways. Like I'm like, this is what I do. This is how I do it. This is my schedule. But it's like, switch it up. Learn something else. Do something else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, learning, I think it's a good thing to keep learning. And I try to keep learning all the time. Of course, it'll be better if I can go to a school and pay money, but it gets expensive. Like editing, for example. I called a school here in LA. 3 days. They have 3-day course. $2,000. I mean, it's you're gonna learn a lot, yes, but I mean, you got to come up with $2,000 for 3 days only. I mean, if it was, let's say, 6 months, I would pay $2,500. I would, put it on the card and pay it every month. But I mean, for 3 days, 2,000, it's just insane, I think. I mean, I can learn it by myself. It's going to take, longer. But yeah, hey, I have time. So I'll just go ahead and learn it by myself. And if I were to, get a job and it becomes my profession, then yeah, absolutely. I'll just go ahead and sign up and I'll go to seminars and I'll go ahead and invest more. But as of right now, I'm just learning. I get a lot of pleasure from, learning new stuff and teaching myself and educating myself. So I kind of like it, especially now, winter time, because it's cold and it rains a lot. So it's a good time to stay home and just learn.
The sun's about to go down even earlier once the time changes here.
I know. When they gonna change it? I
I
think end of
think
this
it's
month,
November
right?
7th. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like that first week in November sometime
Okay.
where you get
Yeah,
home or it's 4:30 and it's already sun setting.
exactly. You wake up to go to work. It's nighttime. When you come back from work, it's still nighttime.
Yeah,
So you don't see the daylight.
it's just gone. But
Yeah.
and what are you editing your films in? What do you use to edit your
I
movies and stuff?
use I use well, I started using Final Cut Pro, and now I use Final Cut Pro plus I use Premiere Pro. So I'm still learning both, but I switch it. Sometimes I, go to Premiere, sometimes I go to Final Cut. And sometimes I do a video in Final Cut, then just to learn, I do the same video in Premiere. And I found out that both systems are extremely professional systems, and they're really effective and they're really good. And it's just something I enjoy doing.
If you had to pick one to edit something in, which would you pick?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I like both. No. The only thing about Premiere, it's a monthly subscription. You have to pay $19.99 every month to keep it. The thing about Apple, which is Final Cut Pro, you just buy it once and it's yours. That's it. It comes with the updates and everything. As long as you have a machine, an Apple machine, and you buy the product, then you have it. But I use Motion, which I still did not learn, but I have it, and I use a compressor. I compress the movies, because I like to shoot in 4K, and 4K they have big files.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, to upload a big file on YouTube, sometimes it takes hours and hours and hours. So what I do, I shoot it on 4K, then I compress it to 1080p. And from a 5 GB file, I go down to, let's say, 600 megabytes. That's a big difference.
Do you use After Effects at all? Have you gotten into that yet?
No, not yet, because I got to learn Premiere before I get
Right.
to After Effects. So it's going to be a while before I get to After Effects.
But you'll get there.
I'll get there one day, yeah. But I got to learn the how to edit first before I learn the effects. But pretty much, I'm pretty good doing what I do, of course. But yeah, it's gonna take a while before I get to that.
Okay. Well, and we're getting toward the end here, but there is one area I wanted to philosophize with you, if that's even a word.
Yeah, well, you and I, we like to philosophize.
Yeah. One topic that you and I have talked about a lot, and I think it's a good topic because it's the topic of what we're doing, anything right now in the world, is the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Now, there's a lot of opinions and theories and beliefs. And I guess I'll open this part of the conversation open with something I heard from someone. His name is Michael Malice.
Mm-hmm.
He's a podcaster. I really liked what he said. He pretty much said that he said there is no meaning to life. Life is like a blank canvas. He goes, but what there is you can paint the canvas to whatever you want the meaning of life to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll just start with that.
Well, I mean, that's really profound, to be honest with you, because, and again, I mean, life, if you think about it, life doesn't need a meaning or a purpose to happen. It just happens. It just, I mean, people think that life needs a purpose. Life needs meaning. What's the meaning of life? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Where did I come from? Where am I going? When I die, is there a hereafter? We're in the here now. I mean, life doesn't need a meaning, doesn't need, and of course, this is all talk and we're just having a conversation, but I don't think life needs a meaning or a purpose to happen. It just happens. But the me, the I, the self needs a purpose or a meaning to keep on going, because and Sam Harris, he talked about this, and you know who Sam Harris is. And he said he thinks, that's his opinion as well, but based on his studies, he thinks that the person is an illusion. Now, when I say illusion, I don't mean that it doesn't exist. We do exist, like the body exists. You and I are talking right now. But the person, like, where did I come from? You didn't come from anywhere. This is it. But it's unknowable, and we can't understand it because we always think from the business side of things. We don't think from, we think that we're here and we have bodies and we have a brain, but it's the other way around. There's a body that has a brain, and the us, the we, is a byproduct of the brain. That's the illusion, the we, that we think that, oh, this is mine. I'm separated from everything. I'm separate from this life. There's a distance between you and me, instead of just, there's only life. There's only life. There's no you came to this life. There's only life. And this life has trees, has bodies, has communication, has sounds, has everything. And interestingly enough, I was watching a YouTube video, and it's on Curiosity Stream. I'm not sure if you know the channel. They talk about science and they talk about a lot of things. It's a subscription, and it's cheap. It's like $20 a year. So they were talking about nothing, and what is nothing? Like, what came out of nothing? And talking about listening to them. They concluded at the end that there's a profound correlation between nothing and everything. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea. But some guy on YouTube, and I listen to, these guys all the time, and I read books on the subject. He kind of said that, nothing, there's nothing, like this is nothing appearing to be everything. I don't know if that makes any sense. This is nothing appearing to be everything. So it's not like there's nothing and everything coming out of nothing. Nothing and everything is one, but we can't see it because that's another subject. And he talks about it as well. And going back to Sam Harris, that he said, the person is an illusion. And he has a book about free will as well, that he thinks that free will is an illusion. We don't have free will, which I think, in my own personal opinion, I agree. I don't think we have free will. We're not doing anything. We're being done by no one.
That's the podcast clip right there. So wait, I want to talk about it. So wait, you're saying every decision we make, every thought we have, everything that happens, we are not in control of that.
It's not, we're not controlling that. You're not the person making that decision. So if I offer you tea or coffee, I'm like, Sam, do you want to have tea or coffee? You think about it. Then you say, well, I'm going to have coffee. Now, in the story, you made the decision, but really your brain did all the thinking and the decision making. And then the you knew about it and said, I want coffee. But then we think that, oh, we decided. I thought about it. The me, that's the illusion.
So you're saying, like, that voice in your head, when I use that voice in my head to communicate with myself or to think things, what is that?
Well, I mean, again, I'm not an expert on the subject, and this is
yes, you are. No,
well, this is not my field of study, but this is from watching, science YouTube videos and listening to these people on TV. Like Sam Harris talked about it as well. He said you're sitting home watching TV, and all of a sudden thoughts, they come to you. Where did they come from? You're watching TV and all of a sudden now you're thinking about your brother in Vegas. Where did that come from? It came from, your experiences, of course, but it came out of nowhere. And it comes to you, you think about it for a little bit, then it goes away. It goes back to nowhere. It came out of nothing, manifested, then it went back to nothing. So, yeah, go ahead.
So what do we do with this?
We can't do anything. There's nothing for you to do. You just live your life the way you're living your life. There's nothing for you to do. This has nothing to do with you. Because if the you is an illusion, an illusion means it appears to be something else. It's there, but it appears to be something else. So if you are the brain and the you are a byproduct of the brain, then there's nothing for you to do. You think there's something for you to do. And people, when they hear this, they say, oh, you know what? If that's the case, then I'll just stay home and I'm not going to go to work. I'm not going to do anything. Well, I mean, if you don't have free will, who's making the decision to stay home? It's crazy, isn't it?
It's a mind bender because
it is.
When you try to think about it, it's almost like your ego or self won't even allow you to think that. It leads to another type of realm too, which what happens after you die? Is there life after death? Do we come back? Is it reincarnation? Is it lights out completely? Is it you go to a different world? No one really knows.
Well, no one really knows. No, I mean, it depends on your beliefs, I guess. I mean, if you're religious, then obviously you're going to go back to God and either hell or heaven and all that stuff. I mean, if you're not religious, I mean, a lot of people are not religious. They think, when you die and that's it. You go 6 feet under and that's it. I mean, it's a mystery. No one knows, to be honest with you. We will never find the answer because no one died and came back and told us. And that's not going to happen. But we think, we just see the me. And again, this is not mine. This is right, what I saw on YouTube and reading books. And I'm sharing it with you, but this is not my belief. It's not a belief. This is not how I think, but we're just talking about it. See, they say that the me, the I, is the illusion, okay? And the me, it's duality. I'm sure you've seen videos on duality, right?
I can't say that I have.
Well, duality means, in a nutshell, that, there's you and me, and there's me, and there's my life, and this is happening to me, and everything is happening to me. I'm the one who suffers. I'm the one who, feels joy and happiness, and I'm working towards this and that. Then in duality, that's the illusion. That's duality. That's dualism. So basically, there's life, and life is happening, and we think it's happening to us, but it's just happening to no one. But that's the illusion. When they speak about death and what happens after death, there's this guy on YouTube. He said, talking about, as far as this is concerned, he said that when death happens to the body, to the physical body, there will be a realization that the I, the me, did not exist to begin with. So what happens right now is the same thing that happens after death. The only thing is the me, the I, the you is going to vanish. And what's left is everything. I know this is crazy. I mean, it's really hard to explain in 5 minutes, and it's unknowable. There's no way for us to know it. And again, I'm just sharing the information I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, you remind me. So I listened to the audiobook version a few years ago, and it's called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. And probably the main thing I took away from this book, it's along the lines of what it relates to what you're saying. He's basically said, he said we need society, people need to have jobs, you need to keep people's minds busy. Because he says if you don't, if people realize that I'm an organism just existing and I'm not explaining it the best, but when people's minds aren't occupied on stuff, they go crazy. They go crazy and they
Exactly.
freak out. So he says we need structure, we need society, we need organizations that are going to give people, because if they don't, people are going to go insane.
And I agree with that 100%, because the me, let's say the me, the illusory me, needs to live in this world. It cannot live in the what's happening right now.
Right.
It's like, think about it this way. I mean, it's really hard to explain in 5 minutes, but I'll go ahead and do my best, and I'll share the information that I saw on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I find it really interesting. So, in a nutshell, without going deep in it, the me has to live in the what's next. Tonight I'm talking to Sam, then I'm going to go to bed, then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and go to work, then I have to do this, I have to do that, instead of just living in not even the now. It's just it's this, it's the isness, it's this is it, this all there is this.
Yes.
The me cannot live in this, it has to live in the what's next. So it's like the fish swimming in the ocean looking for water.
Well, I think you've just picked the book of the episode, because I'm rereading The Power of Now.
The power of now, yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that it's similar. Yeah, you're right. Like the present moment, and tying it to the Meisner technique, which we've both been trained in. The present moment is truly all there ever is and all there is ever going to be. Like what we think, the past, the future, those don't exist. They're done.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's happening is you and I having this conversation right now. That is it.
They're concepts.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's no past to go to and there's no future to go to. There's only this. And this even goes further. There's no now.
What?
Yeah. The now, the thing that we call now is the what's happening. This is what's happening. Because if you go to quantum physics, and I'm not a physicist by any way, like the chair, if you go deep inside the chair and you go to the atom, then you go to the, the particles, then you go to the quark, all you're going to find at the end is nothing. So basically the chair is just chairing. Sitting on a chair is just sitting on a chair. It's not Sam sitting on the chair, it's sitting on the chair. Seeing, you are seeing me, I am seeing you. It's not take the you and the I away from the equation, and it's just seeing. Seeing is happening. Hearing is happening. Noise is happening. Life is happening. But we think it's happening to us. It goes even deeper and deeper and deeper. But I don't think we have time for that.
It's like, well, what the hell do we do then?
Nothing. That's the thing. You don't do anything because there's nothing for you to do. You think that, the me wants to live forever. This message is bad for the me, for the I. Because the me, for the ego, because the me wants to live forever, even if it goes to hell. Going to religion, bad people, they're going to go to hell and they're going to suffer for eternity. It's not going to end. The me doesn't want to die. The me wants to live forever and ever. That's why we die, the body dies. And we're like, oh, no, there's the ghost in the machine, the soul, that's going to live and it's going to go back to its creator. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I'm not saying that's not the case. But the me doesn't want to die. As far as this is concerned, there is no me. So there's nothing for you to do. This has nothing to do with you. Not you, Sam, but the you. It has nothing to do with you. You don't even need to know this because it's not going to change anything. And, sometimes when you talk to people and you say these things, they start thinking about it and they try to make sense of it. It doesn't make sense. This does not make sense to the me. And the me resents this idea or this message, or it doesn't like it. And it's like, oh, this is crazy. This is not happening. But think about it. We're here. Where did we come from? That's, these are the questions. Where did we come from? Where are we going to go? How did we end up here? They're big questions. I don't think we're going to be able to answer them. But that's just me thinking. Nothing scientific about it.
Yeah, well, it brings me, the one, I remember I've been thinking about this question. I can specifically remember, I had to have been, it was probably elementary school probably, where I started to, I would think, and there'll be times where I still go back to this. no matter what you believe, if God created the universe, if whatever created the universe, if it was a big bang or whatever, it had to come from somewhere. Where did it come from? I don't care if it was little atoms that exploded. Where did those
Yeah.
come from? It
See,
blows your
that's
mind every
it does.
time because there's no answer to
Absolutely.
it. No matter how great a
There's no
scientist
answer.
can say,
Yeah.
well, particles have been doing it. I'm like, but what happened before that? You can't answer it because no one freaking knows.
That's the mystery. That's
That's
the
the
mystery.
mystery.
We have no idea. Even the thing that we talked about, the eye is an illusion, and what Sam Harris said, and the like you said, the origin of everything is unknown. No one knows, and we don't know. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. The more we know, we don't know.
Mm.
I think that's, I'm talking about myself. I mean, the more I know, I don't know. I don't know anything. We
I
don't
agree
know. I mean,
100% with that for myself too.
you study and you learn, and at the end, you're like, okay, we don't know anything. And all the things that the, scientists, they discovered, they tell you it could be all wrong. We could be wrong about a lot of things. We follow the evidence. Maybe the evidence is wrong. I don't know. I mean, that's what they're saying. There's a lot of things that they don't know, but to give them credit, they're trying to find out.
Mm.
And of course, according to what we were talking about, that's all in the story.
Man, you gave me a lot to think about before going to bed tonight.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's really interesting stuff, and it's the weird thing is, all of us, we long to know, we long for, for that thing that we're going after, but we can't find it, and we will never find it, I guess.
Yeah,
But
and then you get to a point where you just realize, like, maybe I should just. I don't know if I've told this. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast. But Ram Dass, who you know of,
Ramdas.
he hit this big moment of enlightenment, and it's one of my favorite stories from him. He hit this big moment where he'd been to India, he'd been meditating, he'd been doing all these things, where he just hit this state of consciousness where he kind of just, kind of like, well, what's the point? At a certain point, you just realize how much of the world is ego, and how much of
Mm-hmm.
the fighting and the showing off and whatever it is for people to feel good about themselves or power or whatever. He's talking to his friend, and he's like, well, now what? Now what do I do? And his friend looked at him and said, well, you are a human on this earth. Why don't you try taking the curriculum? Meaning, hey, you're here. You're a human. Why don't you go experience being a human being?
Exactly.
And that's given me perspective, like, because I tend to overthink things and think, well, what's the meaning behind it? Sometimes you just go do it, like go experience something, go feel it, go,
Yeah.
live life.
And you know what? I mean, it's fine. It's okay. I think, in my opinion, it's fine, and it's okay for us not to know. We don't have to know
Mhm.
everything. I mean, we
Mhm.
don't know the meaning of life. We don't know the purpose of life. But like you said, we have the curriculum. I mean, we live in a society where, you can work and you can buy a house and you can establish a family and have kids and a wife. And, I mean, you can do all that and experience all that and live a decent life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But then we get curious and we want to know, because at the end, we're going to leave this life and we want to know where we're going to go. So all these questions, they kind of, they arise, and it'll be like, I want to know where I'm going to go. But some people, they're in peace with it, and they say, you know what, I don't care. It is what it is. Whatever happens, happens. I can control what I can control. What I can't control is out of my control, and just, let it be. Just let it be, and live life, and just, be a good law-abiding citizen, I guess.
Well, Mike, that was, I think, a beautiful thing to wrap us up with. Although I have been reserving the last word for the guest. Is there anything you want to leave us with? It can be a book you've been reading, a movie you've watched, inspiration, something random, or if that's it, you have nothing else to say, that's fine too.
Well, I mean, if anybody is a beginner actor, they can go ahead and go to YouTube, go to my channel and watch the movies. I mean, I have like 5 videos only, but I'm working on them. And if if it could be any help to anyone, that's good. If not, that's fine as well. But just keep learning, keep educating yourself. And we live in a beautiful state. We live in a beautiful city. And we're doing this, and I think the good days are yet to come. Just be optimistic and just move forward.
Awesome, man. And if people want to follow you, where's the best place for people to find you?
It's either YouTube, Mike Cardan, MikeCardan, or they can go to my Instagram, which is Mike Cardan Photography. That's my Instagram account.
Okay, great. Well, my friend, thank you for taking the time. This has finally happened, and one of many conversations we've had, and many future ones to come. And I just wanted to say too, you've been an amazing friend out here in Los Angeles. I'm really grateful to have met you among others, and then especially when my injury first happened too. Like, you were right there, you and Eric, obviously, and others, and it's really cool, man. I'm really blessed to have met you, and I'm very happy to see you taking off in all your projects and endeavors, and looking forward to when we do make movies together again, and we will.
Yeah, no,
we will.
Absolutely, we will, definitely.
So
well, thank you for having me on the show, and I think you
absolutely.
have a really good show going on here. So keep up the good job. Yeah, it's really good. I watched all the episodes.
I know, and thank you. Comment on YouTube, and it's good. We got to take a picture if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Screenshot picture here.
Just let me know when, so I look in the camera.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. I think we got it.
All right.
Well, Mike, my friend, thanks once again. I'm going to end the recording. And
all right. Thank you, sir, and you have a good night.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye, my friend. I was going to say something, but then I'm like, wait, there's nothing else to say. I am going to stop recording. Goodbye, everyone.